at first I didn't think that this video even needs a commentary. I thought the message was so simple that there was really nothing more to add. But as I showed this video to some of my friends before I put it up on YouTube, I realized that actually people are not getting the message at all. Now, I don't know how else to explain it. To me, it is very simple. A lot of world troubles come from us and other countries being mixed up in the Middle East. Our main interest there is obviously oil. Whether or not Israel is a separatist interest or not, I'm not sure. I have a feeling that they are ally for the sake of oil. Our cultures are too different. The religions are too different. The traditions and cultures are too different. And even though as a global economy and the internet is kind of flourishing, maybe someday we will come together and be able to find some common ground. But for now, it looks like us being there is what is causing such a reaction from the Middle Eastern countries back to us. As more and more different weapons and technologies and internet become available, the terrorist attacks have gotten much more vicious. It is easier to recruit, it is easier to get better weapons, it is easier to orchestrate a bigger attack. So even though terrorism has existed for many decades, we're now feeling, especially with 9/11, the real danger of what can happen in the future. Back to my premise, it is very simple. If we just stop going there, they will stop coming here. The end. Look at African countries. I mean, there are plenty of terrorist groups there that are operating on the same mentality for the sake of religion. However, they are just not a big threat to us because we're not there with our interests for them to hate us. With the Middle East is different. We are obviously there. We're obviously there for oil. So therefore, their response is directed at us at all times. And Europe. When I say at us, meaning to the civilized world, America, and civilized countries in Europe. And many people have tried in many different ways to stop this. We tried diplomacy, we tried war, we tried bribing them, we tried bribing their opposition. A lot of things have been done, and yet the result is just not there. So what I feel like, and this is one of the reasons I bought an electric vehicle when I could, is this revolution against the terrorism has to be born within us. And just like with any big wars, every time a country was involved in one, the entire country had to sacrifice something. And to be honest with you, most of us have not sacrificed much, if anything, for this war. But this is the technology that I believe we should all invest into, even though it may be a little too expensive or inconvenient for us. If we all come together and invest in alternative energy so we don't have to depend on their oil, that link of our needs and their hatred will start drying up. And it might take a few years, maybe even a decade or two, but I feel like this is the only way to do it. So that's what the video is about, right? I wanted to make it exciting, like we're this, secret agency that just by, driving around and charging our cars and using, solar energy, we are becoming this anti-terrorism group just like FBI or CIA or Homeland Security are. I just think we will be much more successful because we are definitely cutting off the source of hatred at its roots. I don't know what else to say. We need to leave them alone until maybe they are ready to find common ground with us, and hopefully we'll come together at some point. But for now, let's leave them alone. Let's make sure that the energy that we need, we can create ourselves and not have to go there. Hopefully the source of hatred will subside sooner rather than later. And then we'll see what happens. But I believe at this point, this is really the only reasonable option that will work in a fight against terror.